It gives me a great pleasure to extend a very warm welcome to you all, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this very interesting video presentation on a very important subject, that is controlled flight into terrain, CFIT for short. CFIT has been responsible for causing the largest number of aircraft and particularly helicopter accidents in India and around the world. Hence, it is essential that the operators, pilots, air traffic controllers, and dispatch staff are aware of the hazards related to CFIT and take due precautions to stay safe. When an airworthy aircraft or helicopter under the command of a qualified pilot is inadvertently or without prior knowledge is flown into terrain, obstructions, and water is called controlled flight into terrain. Most of these CFIT accidents are fatal and almost always a pilot error. Although CFIT can occur in any weather condition, both by day and night, yet CFIT is more likely to occur in adverse weather conditions when visual clues are lost while flying during night into clouds, fog, or poor visibility conditions. Under such conditions, pilots may get spatially disorientated, lose situational awareness, and meet with CFIT accidents. In addition, the visual illusions also add to the CFIT accident statistics. Most of the CFIT accidents occur during final approach and landing or during takeoff and initial climb. However, number of aircraft and particularly helicopter CFIT accidents have occurred during cruise or maneuvering flight. Generally, the helicopters fly at low levels, close to the terrain and obstructions in challenging terrain environments without any radar surveillance or air traffic assistance. Hence, helicopters are more prone to CFIT accidents, particularly during flying in the hills and over water. Now we shall discuss how we can prevent controlled flight into terrain. First of all, planning and preparation for the flight. Proper planning and preparation for the flight is of paramount importance for better situational awareness and for the safe and efficient conduct of the flight. Both the pilots must plan and prepare for the flight individually and discuss the plans jointly before the flight. During planning, the pilots must carry out the terrain analysis and confirm the minimum en route altitude, minimum off route altitude, minimum safe altitude, minimum descent altitude, restricted, danger, and prohibited areas. Pilots must have good knowledge about the terrain and obstructions in the takeoff and approach path of the runway oblique helipad and in the area at least 10 kilometers around the airport and helipad. Pilots should carry out proper risk assessment of the flight in coordination with the other crew, taking all the factors into consideration and decide on minimums for the flight, which should of course be respected. Hilly region may have cable car, power cables, communication cables, and transmission towers, which may not be noticed by the pilots in time. Knowledge of these and good lookout while flying in the hills, particularly, is very essential for helicopter pilots who fly along the valleys at low levels. Next important aspect during planning and preparation is the need to know about the overall weather picture, weather condition, and trend at the departure en route and destination airport oblique helipad. Pilots must learn to respect the weather and use the weather information received during met briefing in conjunction with weather radar to detect, analyze, and avoid significant weather. Pilot must plan and prepare well to conduct comprehensive pre-flight, pre-descent, and approach briefing covering the aspects about weather, terrain, obstructions, type of takeoff, approach, runway condition, winds, missed approach procedures, and division of duties and responsibilities between captain and co-pilot. ATC, MET, and company dispatch should be fully involved, particularly during adverse weather conditions, and should provide updated and accurate weather information to the pilots. Captain and co-pilot should have good knowledge about the aircraft, helicopters, and their systems, avionics, and navigation on board, approach and letdown charts, Jeppson charts, weather radar, flight management system, automatic flight control system, SOPs, rules, regulations, spatial disorientation, visual illusions, situational awareness, and recovery from unusual attitudes and wind shear. They should also be knowledgeable about the criteria for stable approach and missed approach procedure, takeoff and go around mode switch operations, SIDS and STARS, ILS approaches, visual and non-precision continuous descent final approaches. The pilot should always keep in mind the golden rules in aviation, which are aviate, navigate, communicate, and manage. The topmost priority should be given by the pilots to the first golden rule, that is aviate. Pilots need to keep the aircraft oblique helicopter under control with reference to its flight path. It should not happen that both the pilots get fixated on some other activity and no one is flying or monitoring. Make sure that at least one pilot is always flying and or monitoring. Loss of situational awareness can occur due to overconfidence, complacency, distraction, fixation, and lack of attention. Pilots should be situationally aware, particularly horizontal and vertical situational awareness at all times, and should know their capabilities and limitations. Pilots should be very careful in entering data into computers, flight management system, automatic flight control systems, GPS, etc., and selection of correct frequencies must be ensured and cross-checked. Remember, check, recheck, and double-check all your entries. Correct altimeter setting must be entered, and pilots must ensure cross-check and call-outs between captain and co-pilot. Pilots must make sure that the en route charts are readily accessible to cater for a possible loss of FMS navigation or GPS navigation, or if any doubt exists about the FMS lateral guidance. During climb, cruise, and descent, flight crew should monitor FMS guidance and navigation accuracy. Confirm or clarify from ATC if any doubt exists about terrain clearance, particularly when being radar vectored. During standard arrival, pilots should be aware whether or not the arrival of their flight is radar monitored by the ATC. Pilots should maintain a sterile cockpit when below 10,000 feet or below the sector minimum safe altitude, particularly at night or in IMC conditions. Changes in clearance should be fully understood before accepting and implementing. Being cleared to a lower altitude should never be understood as a clearance to descend prematurely below the charted sector or segment minimum safe altitude. When being radar vectored, make sure that the controller has clearly identified your radar return by stating radar contact, and do not forget that you are on a radar vector, possibly heading toward high or rising terrain. The pilot oblique controller two-way communication should remain effective at all times. Pilots must avoid monitoring errors, that is, inability oblique failure to monitor the aircraft trajectory and instruments while performing FMS entries or while being interrupted or distracted, and also the radio altimeter must be monitored. Being behind the aircraft and incorrect use of and interaction with automation should be kept in mind. Pilots should be prepared and committed to go around if the conditions for a safe approach and landing are not met. In IMC or at night, immediately respond to any GPWS oblique TAWS warning. In response to any GPWS oblique TAWS warning, pilots must monitor vertical speed and radio altitude for terrain clearance and barometric altitude for a minimum safe altitude. Pilots should avoid the use of non-standard phraseology, and they should be very careful about readback oblique hearback errors and must clarify doubts or ambiguities without any hesitation. Pilots should not accept an amended clearance without prior evaluation. Tendency on the part of the pilots to place overthrust in ATC when confronted by a far-changing environment or while approaching hazardous terrain must be avoided. Air traffic controllers must avoid excessive or last-minute ATC instructions like radar vectors, altitude changes, speed restrictions, runway change, etc., which can lead to crew confusion and possible disorientation. Pilots must be aware about the hazards associated with misreading of charts related to minimum safe altitude and altitude restrictions, premature descent to the MDA before reaching the final approach fix, premature step down during a step down non-precision approach, premature final descent before reaching the visual decision point, non-adherence to published missed approach procedure when going around, incorrect identification of expected visual references, that is, absence of cross-check with raw data during an instrument approach procedures or during night. Starting a second approach in IMC without understanding why the GPWS oblique TAWS was activated on the first approach. Pilots must ensure proper CRM practices, that is cross-check and backup for AP mode selection and AP oblique FMS data entries and timely recognition of monitoring errors, workload management, timely decision making, clarification of doubt or resolution of confusion, approach and go around briefings, altimeter setting and cross-check procedures, and when receiving an altitude clearance, immediately the pilots must set the cleared altitude in the FCU altitude window and then cross-check the new altitude target on PFD. The pilots must ensure that the selected altitude is cross-checked by both crew members, and they must ensure that the cleared altitude is above the applicable minimum safe altitude. Now we'll discuss some miscellaneous points. First of all, task sharing and standard calls for the acquisition of visual references must be clearly understood by the pilots. The role and tasks of the pilot monitoring should be emphasized by highlighting his/her role as pilot monitoring. The pilots must remain current with hands-on flying, instrument flying, and they should be knowledgeable about recovery action from unusual attitudes and wind shear. They must take timely decision to execute missed approach and diversion if required. No question will be asked by DGCA, ATC, or operator if the pilots execute missed approach or divert due unstable approach or weather conditions. DGCA car on all weather operations refers. Helicopter pilots should not hesitate to land at a suitable place if unable to continue the flight due weather. DGCA Air Safety Circular 09 of 2013 refers. Pilots should not descend in IFC conditions or undercast conditions unless they are very sure of the terrain or are following established procedures under radar surveillance. Pilots should not carry out spiral descent or descent through hole, since it may lead to spatial disorientation. Pilots must learn not to succumb to commercial VIP, passenger peer, or self-imposed pressures to undertake the flight in the face of adverse weather conditions. They must learn to say no and should always take a professional and well-considered decision. Get homeitis, get thereitis, and mindset should be kept under check, and no chances should be taken with the safety of the aircraft, crew, and passengers. Please do not follow ATC instruction blindly and be situationally aware. If the ATC gives you a radial to fly, which is taking you into weather, tell ATC unable and ask for another radial. If ATC gives you altitude to climb or descend, which may put you in conflict with other traffic or with your minimum safe altitude, advise the ATC accordingly. Pilots must listen out to the ATC instructions carefully and should not hesitate to verify if in doubt. Pilots must keep open atmosphere in the cockpit where crew members are free to give inputs, particularly related to safety of the aircraft oblique helicopter operations, without any hesitation, fear, apprehension, fear of snubbing or reprisals. The co-pilot should be given freedom to be assertive and encouraged by the captain to correct or caution the captain and even take over control if the captain continues the approach in spite of the approach being unstable or without sighting the runway or any of the runway clues at minimum descent altitude or height. Pilots should not undertake the flight if they are stressed, fatigued, or unwell. They should be very careful while taking flight during window of circadian low and be aware of human performance limitations. No decision should be taken by the pilots if it is influenced by hazardous attitudes like anti-authority, impulsivity, invulnerability, macho, or resignation. Pilot in command should be aware of the risks involved when transitioning from visual to instrument or from instrument to visual procedures on takeoff or landing. Pilots need to be aware of situations like flying over rising terrain that exceeds an aircraft's helicopter's ability or performance to climb away from the terrain. Whenever landing on unfamiliar helipads, particularly in the hills, pilots must carry out hierarchy and low recce to identify and avoid any wires, high ground, obstructions, and tall trees, etc. Operators and pilots must ensure that the pilots carry the most up-to-date flight instrument charts so that they fly the correct instrument charts and do not fly into terrain by mistake. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to emphasize that controlled flight into terrain is a killer. Although the EGPWS has been able to reduce the number of CFIT accidents by 80%, yet the CFIT accidents are continuing on regular basis due to various factors, including the pilots not responding to EGPWS warnings in time. Helicopter pilots who use NAVPRO should be fully familiar with its operation, capabilities and limitations and ensure that the NAVPRO is updated. Helicopters are more prone to CFIT accidents since most of the helicopters fly without any terrain avoidance and warning systems at low heights, in challenging terrain environments, and in uncontrolled airspace without any radar surveillance or air traffic control or assistance. In addition to the wire strike, number of helicopter accidents have occurred during bad weather in the hills. Helicopter pilots particularly must keep in mind that hills and adverse weather conditions are a deadly combination and they should be very careful of cables, wires running across valleys, pylons, towers, obstructions, en route and around the helipad. Knowledge and situational awareness are key to prevent controlled flight into terrain. Number of CFIT accidents have been caused due to lack of knowledge, planning, preparation, briefing, crew resource management and situational awareness, knowledge about the terrain, obstructions and wires, appreciation of the weather, and assertiveness on the part of the co-pilot. Besides weather, some of the worst enemies of the safety of aviation operations are ego or confidence, complacency, macho attitude, eagerness to please, commercial, VIP, passenger, peer, and self-imposed pressures, attitudinal deficiency, fatigue and stress, power distance oblique cockpit gradient, get their itis oblique homitis, lack of monitoring, alertness, and involvement. Some other contributing factors for CFIT accidents are errors while making the entries in the FMS, GPS, AFCS, and in reading of the charts, misunderstanding and misinterpretation between ATC and the pilots and pilots blindly following ATC instructions. Lack of awareness about the conditions leading to spatial disorientation, loss of situational awareness, and CFIT have been responsible for causing number of CFIT accidents. Distraction, fixation, expectation of success, delayed decision or inappropriate decision. All the factors brought out above are likely to result in CFIT accidents, and the pilots should take appropriate and timely action to avoid various pitfalls. Chief of Flight Safety and operations staff should be fully involved and must remain extra alert and vigilant, particularly during marginal weather conditions, to provide timely and accurate weather-related information, support, and guidance to the pilots. The senior management, accountable managers, chief operating officers, and chief pilots should be fully involved and must proactively identify hazards related to operations during adverse weather conditions, that is pre-monsoon, summer season, monsoon season, and winter season, and operations to and from airports and helipads, which are known to be difficult and challenging. Standard procedures should be introduced to brief the pilots about the CFIT related hazards and precautions they need to take to operate safely. ATC and Met department can play an important role in preventing CFIT accidents through their proactive involvement. Supervision and monitoring of flying operations by accountable managers, chief operations officers, chief pilots, particularly from NSOP, state government and private operators, needs to be improved. Effective implementation of safety management system can go a long way in enhancing safety culture in the company and prevention of CFIT accidents. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time to watch this video presentation on controlled flight into terrain. All the operators, pilots, operations and dispatch staff, ATC controllers, and Met department can play a very important role towards prevention of controlled flight into terrain related accidents. Aviation Safety India takes this opportunity to appeal to all the stakeholders in aviation to disseminate the contents of this video among their colleagues and friends to enhance their awareness about the factors leading to controlled flight into terrain accidents and the steps they should take to prevent these accidents. Wishing you all very happy and safe flying and many happy landings. Jai Hind.